Hello, my name is Ashley, this is Faithful Rattos, and welcome back. So today's video is another vlog. I do like these on my channel, so we are going to continue to do them. So in today's vlog, we are starting off with a vet trip, unfortunately. So Azora just turned 2 just over a week ago, and she has been absolutely perfect apart from her mammary tumour that got removed quite a while ago now. But today, when I went to feed them, she just was not looking very good. Hunched, puffy, breathing hard, a little bit honky. And I took her out, and I'm going to put the clip here to try and get some pee from her, which she didn't pee. She pooed in there, but she didn't give me any pee. She just looked rough. So we are going to the vet today. I reckon we've got some heart stuff going on, perhaps a respiratory situation, but I genuinely think the most likely thing for her is heart, given that a lot of her relatives that we've had that have passed from heart things at just about 2. So I think it's her heart, and especially the fact that she's all of a sudden really unwell. Usually respiratory things, you'll get at least a little bit of time before they look pretty unwell. Usually they're just honky, they don't actually look unwell. So I think it's hard. We shall see what the vet thinks when we go up there. And yeah, she is on the older side, and this has happened to quite a number of her relatives. So I do think that's what we're looking at. I could be wrong. Not every single one of her relatives has had heart things. It's just in my experience, the rats from that family have had that. So that is what we are going to be looking at. And when I say the rats in the family have had that, I don't mean that in any sort of bad way before anyone gets all sassy about it. Rats have to die of something, and if it's heart-related things at 2 or older, I think that is absolutely fine. It's just like the thing that happens, I guess. So yeah, we will be going to the vet, and we shall see what the vet thinks. So we're a little bit suspicious when it comes to her. So we're going to get an x-ray because I'm just feeling that sort of way. I'm in my era of getting imaging done because it seems to be the thing that is like answering questions and helping. So I'm going to do it. I wouldn't recommend it in every scenario, but I think for this one, it's worth doing because... So, Rat Dad, me, and Lyra are waiting. Hopefully they'll be able to get a decent image conscious, because the way she stands, not a fan of you can't see her, but Lyra is literally like on my arm here. The way she stands, I'm not really a fan of sedation right now, but look. Turn upside down. What do you mean turn it upside down? Oh. Anyway, yeah, this is Lyra. She's just here for company and to cause chaos. We're upside down now. I'm gonna have to edit that, aren't I? We have some medicine for Azora. Based on the very wiggly x-ray that we got, there is some sort of situation in one specific part of one of her lungs that it could be something like a tumour, but Jordan thinks it's more likely something like it's an immune response, so that it's like inflammation, i.e. some sort of infection is going on in there, perhaps some sort of like aspiration pneumonia, something like that, which would explain why it's happened so quickly. But we can't really say for sure because we only got one view on the x-ray and it wasn't super clear. But we're going to treat with antibiotics, Baytril and Doxy, just to hopefully clear that. If that doesn't work, then we'll add in maybe steroids and maybe we'll move in a different direction. But it's not her heart. Her heart looks good. It is very specifically one area of a lung that looks like it's having trouble. So that is the treatment that we're going to do. So I've got her medicine here and I'm going to give it to her. So I'm going to just put Lyra back because it's going to make that more complicated because there are some boys who are out. We've got Azora. And will she eat this? Hello! So this is going to be the last clip in the video. I'm going to give you an update on Azora, and I think that's probably going to be it for this vlog, just so I have enough time to get it up and sorted. So I'm going to show you her, give you a little bit of an update, have a bit of a chat about imaging. I did post about this on my story, but I do think it's worthwhile speaking about in the video. So yeah. So as you can see here, she is not looking perfect. Her breathing is still quite heavy. It's particularly heavy when she's eating. She did lose a bit of weight, so we're doing some weight at baby, which she's eating at the moment, whilst the other girls are causing chaos on free roam. She sounds a lot better. She's just doing generally better in herself, although she is looking a bit old and scraggly. Currently, I think that's just with the eating, but she has been very energetic and happy to cause chaos on free roam. So I'm feeling quite good about her and where her recovery is going at the moment. So I just wanted to have a little bit of a chat about imaging, because this is something that rat owners, we talk about a lot when it comes to like going to the vet and whether it's worth it or not. We talk about, is it worth it? Is it helpful? Blah, 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 all of this stuff. And in a lot of cases, doing imaging, x-rays, ultrasound, even the more expensive ones, MRIs, just isn't worth it in rats. And it's something I have said a lot of time, that doing those extra things, unless it's going to change the treatment plan, is not necessarily necessary. And I've said this for things like tumour biopsies and x-rays when it comes to like heart failure, something like that, that they're just not always necessary, and that you can find out good solid information about what's going on with a treatment trial, like with a trial of drugs, which is still true. But I do think my opinion has changed slightly, in that I am very much more like in the grey area now, that there are some times where these diagnostics are helpful. I still personally wouldn't be routinely sending off like mammary tumours, for example, unless they looked particularly weird or the vet was more sort of, I don't know, concerned about a specific lump. I wouldn't routinely send them off. But I think I am of the sway now to get x-rays when we have some sort of respiratory heart possibly thing going on and it's not super clear what is the cause. Now, I don't think by any means this means you have to get all of the tests, scans done to have a good quality care given to your rat. I don't think that. I think we can still give good quality care without these diagnostic tools, but I do think that they do have some merit in a way that some people just don't consider. I do think they also do have some merit for sort of long-term understanding of the things that we have going on. And one thing I think is particularly important to note, it's not relevant to Azora, but it is just relevant to the conversation in general, and that is when it comes to pituitary tumours, a lot of people actually overdiagnose pituitary tumours, especially like pet homes. I'm not talking about like vets. I'm just talking about people say, oh, my rat has these symptoms, it must be a PT, when that's not always true. Yes, there are certain symptoms that are very common in a PT. The balled fists, the not being able to hold things is a very classic or common PT sign, but all of these symptoms that you get in a pituitary tumour are just general neurological symptoms, and this can have many other causes. And we also know that UTIs, for example, can sometimes present with like neurological looking symptoms. It's very weird. It happens in people too, happens in rats. I don't understand it, but that is true. All that to say that a lot of times what we think is a PT actually isn't. And one of my vets, not the one that I went to today, but Adele, my mobile vet, my small furry specialist, she sees a lot of rats, and she does a lot of consultations with people who assume a PT. They go ahead and they do a really cool ultrasound of the skull. They can either do it from the top or sort of from like this area to check. And in a lot of cases, it actually isn't a PT. It's something else, some other sort of neurological situation. Their PT is not there. And that's not to say that similar treatments don't help, because steroids, when any sort of brain inflammation, is going to help. You know, if there is something to help, steroids will help. But there can be other causes. And I have like one personal experience of this, which was my rat Cheeky. She was showing signs of what looked like to anyone what a PT would look like. She started to get better on medication. We did the scan anyway. She didn't have a PT. So, all this to say, I've said all this to say a couple of times, but anyway, what I'm trying to get at is, it is sometimes possible to give good quality care without doing extra tests, scans, x-rays, diagnostic, sending out samples to the lab, etc. But there are a lot of cases where this is very, very helpful, and I think people are discouraged from doing them. And I think I have personally changed where I sit on this scale, that I do think it's necessary sometimes. And without sort of confirming what you've got going on, you can sort of be a little bit unsure about the prognosis, if that makes sense. So that's just what I wanted to say. That's the vlog. Zora has now finished her wait-up baby and is trying to leave. But yeah, we'll sign off from this video now. As you can see, she's super active. She's much shinier. I'm just trying to get a bit more weight back on her because she's a bit skinnier than I would like. But yeah, thanks so much for watching this video all about little Azora here and my little bit of a spiel. We shall see you in the next video. Subscribe, all the things, comment, like, join my channel memberships. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.